inside the Wells Fargo Center right here in Philadelphia, site of the Democratic National Convention. I'm Vladimir Duthiers. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, Senator Bernie Sanders is calling on his supporters to back Hillary Clinton in spite of the controversy surrounding the DNC. Sanders just gave a preview of what we might hear from him tonight at the convention. His support for Clinton was met with boos from the crowd. They are upset over DNC emails that were leaked yesterday that showed party leaders discussing ways to weaken Bernie Sanders' campaign. Now, in response to the controversy, Chairwoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz announced that she would resign after the convention was over. And just a short time ago, she announced she will not be gaveling in the DNC. Still, delegates aren't letting her go quietly. She was booed this morning while addressing the Florida delegation. I'm joined now by Marcy Stech. She's the VP of Emily's List, and our senior political editor, Steve Chaggaris. Thanks, you guys, for being here.
Great to be here.
All right, Steve, let's get straight to the breaking news. Wasserman Schultz is not going to be gaveling in today. We're sort of expecting this. Is this enough for them to move on from this?
No.
No.
Not at all. I mean, I think if you hear that Sanders event where he basically said, I'm imploring you to back the Clinton-Kaine ticket, and then they booed him. These are Sanders supporters booing Bernie Sanders on this. This is going to be a big problem moving forward. I just think we're underestimating how angry and upset Sanders delegates are about what's been going on over the last year and really what's been going on over the last couple of weeks. We've got a polling information from a couple of weeks ago. This is now admittedly before Sanders endorsed Clinton and before Clinton picked Kaine, but 64% of Sanders voters in a poll that we did said they disapproved or were upset about Clinton as the nominee. I can't imagine, based on that reaction, that's gotten much better. These people don't feel that Clinton is reaching out to them. They feel that they have a loud voice in the party, and they feel, I think, at least with the Kaine pick, and then with what has come out involving these emails, that really that part of the Democratic Party is not really listening to the numbers and millions of people who backed Bernie Sanders and his campaign during the primary.
What do you think, Marcy?
Well, I think this is a very vocal few. I mean, we are here at the convention. We have the most activists of activists here in front of us. And, of course, they're going to fill a room, and they're going to have a lot to say about this. There's no question that Bernie Sanders has tapped into a very progressive lightning rod type of activists right now. And I think that these people here who are here today on the ground, they want to see Bernie Sanders' policies move forward. And we know that we have the most progressive Democratic platform we've ever had in history, thanks to him and to Hillary Clinton. So they're getting what they want out of this. I think that this email stuff from the past couple of days has absolutely ignited a little bit of anger, rightfully so, but we're going to move forward because you want to know what? After whatever drama happens here, we are going to see Bernie Sanders on that stage. People are going to welcome him. They are going to be applauding him. We're going to see Elizabeth Warren on that stage. She is a uniter. She is someone who is the leader of our party, and I think that's what the takeaway from today will be.
Steve, jump in.
Well, I'm just, if today's event with Sanders and his supporters was any indication or any preview of what's going to happen tonight, I think he's going to have a little bit of trouble convincing the entire room. Now, granted, the entire room is not all Bernie Sanders supporters, but 1,900 delegates are Bernie Sanders delegates. And if he's going to be pushing this notion that, they should be backing Clinton-Kaine and pivoting toward Donald Trump, I mean, it was just, what was stunning to me is the Donald Trump part of it wasn't garnering any applause. I was pretty
You would
surprised. Think that would be the unifying force behind all of this. I mean, if you look at what the Republicans did last week, Hillary Clinton became the unifying force, I think, within that party and got people who were not totally behind Trump to say, you know what, he's our nominee, it's fine, we're going to go after Hillary Clinton. You would think the same thing would happen on this side, given how unpopular Donald Trump is with Democrats. But it still seems that Sanders supporters are hung up on the idea that they're not getting everything that they feel they deserve in terms of, you mentioned the platform, they got some concessions in the platform. You mentioned superdelegates, they got some concessions there. But I think they feel that the vice presidential pick, there should have been more of a concession there.
And that's the thing that I think, so if there are viewers out there who are watching this and they're sort of wondering, okay, it seems, according to even Senator Sanders, that Hillary Clinton has moved closer to some of his positions because of the fact that he gave her a very tough run. A lot of people were saying, so what else do they want? I mean, is it now the decision has been made for Tim Kaine, so what more could they possibly want as far as concessions from the Hillary Clinton campaign?
I think that they want to be heard. They want to make sure that they are not forgotten as we move forward united as a party. I think that makes sense. They're a vocal few. I think that Tim Kaine has an incredibly progressive record. When Hillary Clinton picked Tim Kaine, I think there were a lot of question marks. Who is this guy? He's kind of been under the radar for our party. And the more that Democrats get to know him, they realize he is a progressive champion. He was a civil rights leader when he was in his younger years. I mean, he has been part of our party in a very quiet and understated way, in a way that I think is really surprising progressives. I know that at least in the women's health movement and that the progressive movement that I work in, we are over the moon about this guy. I mean, he is a total champion for women and for women's health.
All right, so if you're just joining us at the top of the hour here, there's a lot of news to get into. We're flying low and slow here on CBSN. We have a little bit of that moment when Bernie Sanders was addressing some of his supporters in Philadelphia. I want to play for you what happened. Take a listen. All right, we're still trying to get that sound. We're going to play that to you. It was a really interesting moment because, as Steve, you pointed out, people got very vocal when he mentioned we should all support Senators Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine.
Well, what was interesting is as he was saying Hillary Clinton, there were cheers, and then the second he mentioned Kaine,
bottom fell out. And then he said, Donald Trump is a racist, and he blah, 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 and it was sort of like,
But to Marcy's point, I mean, the Democrats, and Clinton and the Democratic Party, they have a significant sales job to make to Sanders supporters about how progressive Tim Kaine is. And we saw it literally from the moment they announced that Tim Kaine was going to be the running mate. There was all sorts of messaging out there about how he's a huge progressive record, a long progressive record, but it's not resonating immediately with Sanders supporters. So they got a lot of talking to do about Tim Kaine, a lot of convincing to do, I think, of the Sanders supporters on this.
I just got to say, we are overanalyzing what happened in that room right now. I do think it does ring true with a lot of these.
Yeah, well, so actually,
it was pretty remarkable.
I think our control room has been able to locate that piece of video. Let's go ahead and play that for our viewers.
It is so wonderful to be able to be here with my home state. All right, everybody now, settle down. Everybody settle down, please.
Okay. All right, we have a big program. We have a big program today. Let's hear. Let's be respectful. Please be quiet so Debbie can speak. It's okay. Everybody, let's hear from our speakers. We have other speakers as well. Yes. All right. Love you, Debbie.
Thank you all so much.
We have got to defeat Donald Trump. And we have got to elect Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine. Brothers and sisters,
That was just moments ago. We just saw that happen. And Steve, you were doing the
boometer.
Yeah, the boometer.
The needle is buried over here. I mean, these are
It's a remarkable
supporters.
moment.
It's a remarkable moment. Right. It is a remarkable moment. And again, if the idea is to go into the convention unified, I think they got a little bit of work to do. I mean, it's very clear from that.
Marcy.
I know Marcy disagrees.
I just think we are overanalyzing about 10 minutes of what happened today.
You know how much overanalyzing we've done in the last few weeks about both these conventions?
I mean, we've got a lot more to go.
Yeah.
But the point is, this is day one of our convention. What we just saw is not representative of where we are as a party. I'm sorry, it's just not. If you look at polling, if you know where
I have a question. So if this lingers into tomorrow during roll call and then during Kaine's speech, is your mind going to change on that?
No.
So you think that if there are actual boos during Kaine's acceptance speech, that shows that the party's unified?
No, I think that booing and cheering and all that stuff does not actually matter. It matters what happens on that stage tonight and what actual voters are listening to. They are listening to Elizabeth Warren. They are listening to Bernie Sanders from that stage. They are not slicing and dicing every single second that happens in this convention like we are. tomorrow we're going to have a totally different story, and that story is going to be these loud and very powerful voices that we have to speak on behalf of our party. Michelle Obama, Kirsten Gillibrand, Stacey Abrams, rising star from Georgia. You guys have to get to know her. I'm telling you, you guys are in for a treat tonight, and we are going to have so much more to analyze tomorrow.
Can we expect, Steve, for example, what we saw in Cleveland last week? There were some people that tried to make a stand against Donald Trump, and the crowds, the people that were all there for him, sort of shouted them down, shouted their voices out. Could we see the same thing here, or are the 1,900 delegates that Bernie has perhaps a little bit more vocal and a little bit more aggressive than what we saw in Cleveland?
I mean, we'll see. You know, I mean, the numbers are different, right? So the 1,900 is a lot larger of a number than the number of people I think who were like outright against Trump at that point. The other part of this is, you know, we point to the Cruz speech, and I truly do not believe that Bernie Sanders is going to go anywhere near what Cruz did, which is basically say, I'm not going to back Donald Trump.
He's been very vocal.
And then we saw the response to that, by the way. And if you notice, in a poll came out today, Ted Cruz's unfavorables among Republicans doubled since he gave that speech.
Wow.
So I don't think you're going to see Bernie Sanders doing anything like that. And in fact, Bernie Sanders has been telegraphing and been saying that he is getting behind this ticket and is turning his focus to Donald Trump. He needs to convince his supporters to do the same. And there may be some back and forth in this crowd. I mean, as many as Sanders delegates as there are, 1,900, there are 2,700 Clinton delegates. And so there could be some shouting back and forth. It'll be make for fun television. I know we're overanalyzing it, but we have a lot of time.
Exactly. There's a lot of time to go before. But here's the thing. She has kept on and is keeping on Wasserman Schultz as a co-chair of her campaign. Is that a smart move?
I mean, it's a symbolic move.
That's right.
I think that her campaign that Hillary's campaign has rightly decided that we need to move forward. We need to move forward with party leaders who are completely neutral. And I think that having her as a co-chair of the 50-state program is totally fine. I mean, look, I think Debbie Wasserman Schultz did the right thing. She has, shown leadership by stepping down and deciding not to gavel in tonight. I think that is a smart move. And I think we're going to move forward with the people on that stage who are representative of our party.
And there are reports now that the mayor of Baltimore, Stephanie Rawlings-Blake, will be the one to gavel in tonight. That's what we're hearing. We're trying to confirm that, but a lot of news organizations reporting that. Donna Brazile, a longtime Democratic strategist, is now effectively running this convention. Is that right, Marcy?
That's right. That's right.
And people like her, she's been around for a long time. She's very popular with both, I think, the Clinton people and the Sanders people.
Absolutely. She's trusted. She's someone who understands the process of what's going to happen this next couple of days at the convention. She understands how to win, and that's what's most important. We have to look to November. We're uniting as a party. We have to remember that what happens this week is really setting the tone for the next 4 months or whatever we have until we have to go to the ballot box in November. A lot of voters are just tuning in for the first time. It's important for us to set that really important tone about making sure we have an economy that works for everyone.
Steve, the one thing that I've been sort of thinking about is the decision to now move Senator Sanders' speaking spot to prime time. Clearly, they felt they had to do that. It's uncertain why they didn't do it from the very beginning, but they had to move him to prime time. But now, with what we just saw today, there's going to be a lot of head scratching too, because this is in prime time.
I mean, he was her main challenger. He did come in second place in the primaries, and he got millions of people to vote for him. I mean, it makes sense why he's going to be there. I mean, so he's getting 20 minutes in prime time, and he is solidly behind Hillary Clinton at this point. And I think they feel confident that he's going to get up there and make the case for her and make the case against Donald Trump. And so it's sort of a no-brainer to put him there. I'm not sure why he wasn't there to begin with. Probably because of timing. I mean, think about it. They have Elizabeth Warren and Michelle Obama that they both wanted to feature in prime time. So, or in the 10 o'clock hour, which is really the hour that the networks take. And so there is a time crunch there, but they're getting him on the back end of that.
All right, Steve Chaggaris, Marcy Stech, thank you both for being with us. Appreciate it. I know you're going to be around with us because, as Steve, as you've been pointing out so effectively, there's a lot to analyze, and we're going to be doing
not over-analysis.
Not over-analysis.
A lot of analysis.
Exactly, smart analysis.